This biscuit joiner from Woodstarter claims to deliver clean, accurate cuts. So today, we're going to see if it's worth it. I'm Jacob, and today we're checking out the Woodstarter 8.5 amp biscuit joiner. I'm going to cover setup, performance, accuracy, dust collection, and we'll end the video with whether a biscuit joiner, particularly this biscuit joiner, is right for you. Before we get too far into the video, I should mention that Woodstarter did send me this biscuit joiner for free. But as with my past videos with Woodstarter, they don't get to see any of the videos before I post them, and anything that I say today is just my opinion. 100% not influenced. They're going to see the video as soon as it's live the same time as you. So with that tiny little caveat out of the way, let's get started. This biscuit joiner is powered by an 8.5 amp motor spinning at 12,000 RPM. You get adjustable depth stops for number 0, number 10, and number 20 biscuits, an angle fence that goes up to 90 degrees, and a dust bag that's surprisingly effective for this price range. The setup is pretty quick. You just attach the dust bag, use the adjustment knob to set your biscuit size, and make sure the square is fence. When I took it out of the box, mine was already square and aligned, but I verified it with a small machinist square just to be sure. So we're going to start with a soft pine. I think this is a 1x6. In this, the joiner cuts pretty fast and smooth. The motor doesn't really bog down or anything, and the slots are clean. The biscuit slots are clean with very minimal tear out or rough edges. On the 3/4 inch plywood, there's a little bit more resistance, not very much, but there's still plenty of power to make the cut. Again, motor didn't really bog down, and the slots are pretty clean after I took the biscuit joiner away. On both, my alignment was spot on. The slots were centered and the boards came together flush without any sanding or planing, which is a nice bonus if you're making a tabletop or need to make put, in my case, two 1x6s together to make a wider shelf. The dust bag caught about 70–80% of the debris, which is pretty good if you're just doing a couple biscuits. If you're doing a lot of biscuits, like in an actual dedicated wood shop, then that might be an issue, but I didn't really run into it just for running a couple biscuits at a time. The grip is pretty comfortable. The vibration is minimal. There is a little, I don't know what you'd call this, a safety trigger kind of on the front end of the grip that powers a biscuit joiner. I found that a little bit cumbersome, but after a little while I learned that you could push the safety just barely and then pull the trigger to get the biscuit joiner started. So that helped a little bit with the control. So let's talk the pros and cons. For the pros, pretty strong motor, accurate fence, and for $80, it's a pretty good value compared to some of the other more popular brands. For the cons, the dust bag is pretty small, but that's not really a huge issue unless you're cutting tons of biscuits at one time. I mean, even if you are cutting tons of biscuits, just empty the bag. It's not a mission critical issue. The fence could also lock a little bit better at steeper angles. I've never used a biscuit joiner at a 90-degree angle besides doing this test, but I can see how that might be an issue. I always just use it flat for, gluing up panels together, so it's not a huge issue for me, but if you use a biscuit joiner that way, it might be an issue for you. And lastly, this might just be a user error, but I had a little bit of issue setting the depth. I wasn't very intuitive on where the depth, there was no arrow or anything for setting the depth on the fence here, or the height, I guess, not the depth, the height on the fence. The action is a little bit rough as well, but that's really not a major issue. But honestly, I am not entirely sure how to set the height here. I'm kind of just guessing, I guess. So that's some feedback that I'll give back to the Woodstarter team when they watch this video, is that I have no idea how the height adjustment works. The user manual also did not mention anything about it. I mean, it tells you how to set the height of the cut, twist the knob to lock and unlock, but it doesn't exactly say how the height gauge is supposed to be used. I mean, I've only used one other biscuit joiner, so I don't really have a reference, but I'm not really sure how that works. Could just be me. Probably just on me. So if you're a hobbyist, or maybe you run a small side gig doing some woodworking projects, I think that this Woodstarter jointer is a pretty good option for you. I've never used them a ton in the past, but I think that this one from Woodstarter strikes a pretty good balance between the value and how well it performs. The performance was, honestly, it exceeded my expectations. Now, if you are a production woodworker, like this is your full-time job, you have a full cabinet shop, you're working in something other than an uninsulated garage in the Midwest, then you might want to look for something else. I don't know what the higher end options are, but I'm sure that there are some. Maybe by Festool or something. Woodstarter should figure out a way to dupe the Festool domino jointer, by the way. If you're watching this, please look into that product team. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, drop them below in the comments. I usually check them once a week or so, whenever I remember. If you have any questions for the Woodstarter team, you can leave them there. I'll either forward it along to them, or maybe they'll even just reply right to your comment. That would be pretty cool. You can interact directly with the brand. That's the nice thing about working with one of these smaller brands compared to the big dogs, is that you can get some one-on-one interaction with the product managers, the product team, and if you have any feedback about the products, they seem to be pretty good about responding to them and kind of addressing those issues, or at the very least helping you, fine-tune your setup and your operation so that you're using it, 100% effectively. And if you have a biscuit joiner, if you're a little bit more familiar with them, also leave a comment below telling you how you use them, because I've only used them, the only major use that I've had for them is joining some 1x6s together to make a little table for under my TV stand, which worked fairly well. It was a green one, it wasn't this Woodstarter one, but that's the only use that I've used it for. So if you have other uses for a biscuit joiner, please let me know below, because I'm genuinely curious. I see a lot of videos online. Some people really like biscuit joiners. Some people seem to think that they're completely worthless and a waste of your money. So I'm curious how other people are actually using them as well. And yeah, sorry it's been so long since I've done a video. I feel like I've had this biscuit joiner for 4 or 6 weeks, but I've been doing an addition on my house to put a mudroom in. So it's been a little busy. I'll take a little video. I'll show you a little clip of that and see what we're working with. Maybe. I'll just show you. It's okay.